Is it working or is it not working? It's saying I have no connection. There it's saying I have a connection. I'm not sure if it was working or not, but I had a little red dot in my upper right corner of my screen. And let me tell you, the little red dot is not good news. Oh no, the little red dot is not good news. Back in the home I was living at before I moved in June, I was in a void area of Verizon connectivity. And I was doing my coffee show every morning at the, I'd start in my kitchen and I'd move to my living room, and sometimes I'd go out front or what have you. And again, it was a strange area where I couldn't get Verizon service very well at all, which is a real big bummer for a guy that has a Verizon phone, has had a Verizon phone for like 20 years, and who lived close to downtown and does a lot of stuff, a lot of videos, a lot of Wi-Fi, a lot of things. And, I'd move around the house, or I'd turn the angle on my phone, and suddenly my connectivity would go away, and my good connection green dot that I have right now would turn into a yellow dot saying unstable connection, and then a red dot that said no connection. And I'd be talking and I'd be saying these awesome life-changing things, pearls of wisdom that you would have to pay millions of dollars for, but you get free on TikTok because you follow Coffee with Ken. And these pearls of wisdom would be falling out of my mouth like water over a falls. And then I'd realize there's no connection, and it would all go for naught. And that was tough. So now we have a good connection, and we had a no connection at the beginning. So I don't know if you missed any of it, but if you did, or if you didn't, good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy. Hey, Cindy, thank you so much for following the live creator. I really love when people do that. I have a lot of fun on my show. I do a morning show every day, just about every day at about 6 o'clock. I talk live. I go to work on my work days. I'm a 55-year-old man who was a realtor for 17 years, a stockbroker for 10 years before that, who got divorced at the beginning of the year, stopped drinking alcohol and smoking pot 2 years ago, and is looking for a new career, and is currently working at a super target. And I think the adventures that happen to such this man make for good programming. And I have an ability. I have a lot of life experiences, some really good highs and really low lows. And I have an ability to tell a story and to talk that seems to resonate with an audience. And it feels good to be able to do it and be the best version of me. Good morning, Ms. Tulsa. But anyway, oh yes, somebody just said bald. Why, yes, I've noticed. I have noticed that I'm bald. I have. Somebody wants me to tell a story about my childhood. I was always a curious young man. I loved snakes. I wanted to be a herpetologist growing up. I had many friends. I've always been blessed with lots of friends. One day, a friend of mine, we'll call him Chris because that's his name, who had red hair, and if anybody's watching from where I grew up in Downers Grove, you might remember who it is, but I won't say any further than that. We were hanging out in a forest, heavy wooded neighborhood by our houses, and there was a house that seemed boarded up or extra locked down. And we stood on our little tippy toes and looked over the window, and we were pretty sure we saw a coffin inside covered up. At least that's what the minds of probably a 10-year-old boy, two 10-year-old boys were telling us. So we went to the shed in the yard of this home that seemed boarded up or certainly locked down. We found some tools, some old like hatchets and saws and screwdrivers and hammers. And we went to town on the door. That was this old door, very solid door, very secure door. And we're digging away at it for hours, trying to get into the house to see if it truly was a coffin inside the door. After several hours of very vigorous work, we go back to the shed to get more tools. We come back and a man runs around the corner and grabs us. It was a scary thing. I mean, the whole adventure was scary. We were looking to get into what we thought was an abandoned home with a coffin. So it was scary front to beginning, but it was especially scary when we realized that, lo and behold, the home wasn't truly abandoned. It was just locked up and boarded up and maybe what have you. And although I never got in to verify that it wasn't actually a coffin, because the gentleman had us call our parents, which was fairly embarrassing, and our dads came and had to pick us up. But again, I just was a curious kid wanting to investigate the home and see if it indeed was a coffin. So that's a story from my childhood. Anyway, thank you. Hey, this is Coffee with Ken. And this is Coffee Break with Ken, which is a special version. It's a version when I'm busy working at my super Target, stocking shelves, dominating the cereal aisle, spreading cheer and joy. I just had a man come up to me and ask me about cold medicine and ask me, and he was certainly English was a second language for him, and I did my best to find the cold medicine for him and give my 2 cents on it. Hello, Simple Jack. Give my 2 cents on my thoughts on cold medicine, and I recommended the generic version of the Dayquil if he's feeling sick right now and he doesn't want to go to sleep. When I'm not feeling well, I know taking a swig or two of that always makes me feel a little bit better and get through a day. And then when I get through my day, if I can make it to the NyQuil or the generic version of the NyQuil, which I'm fine with, at night I sleep well and I feel good. And it's amazing what drugs they put into that NyQuil, because it's not just alcohol. They'll tell you it's just alcohol, but it's not. There's some like hallucinogenics floating around the NyQuil and the generic version of said product because it makes you sleep crazy sleep. Good morning, Lindsay girl. And yeah, that was a little adventure I had. Not that exciting, but I felt like I was overstepping the bounds of a guy that's supposed to be stocking those shelves. I felt like I was giving him medical advice, and I made it clear that I'm not a doctor, although I do wear a handsome red vest. And I had a name tag, so no doubt I look like a very important authoritarian figure. And he respected me, I'm sure. He looked up to me. It's nice being 6'2", because most people look up to me. Occasionally, people taller than me will come across my path, and I'll have to look up to them. It's hard for me. But anyway, as I was saying, it's Coffee Break with Ken, and it is a show about me talking and sharing a little bit of my love of coffee. And I've been nursing this second venti cup of coffee all day, and it's been hiding in my cereal aisle. Don't tell my bosses. They'll yell at me for hiding my coffee in my cereal aisle, where when nobody's looking, I'll reach into my hiding spot and take a quick sip to get the caffeine that I so desperately need bouncing through my arteries and bouncing through my soul. Hide it behind the honey hose. That's an interesting suggestion. A very specific suggestion, Maxim. A very specific suggestion. I have lots of thoughts on cereal. As a guy that sits and stares at cereal boxes on average about 30 hours a week, I have lots of time to ponder cereal. I've always had deep thoughts on cereal. I've always been a cereal fan. I have lots of memories of cereal. Cereal reminds me of my mother, who passed about 4.5 years ago after a 10-year... Sorry about that. I hope you're still there. After a 10-year ordeal with Alzheimer's, my car just disconnected. The thing slid down and knocked my phone off. And now the sound is probably different, because now you're connecting through the sound of my phone, not the sound of my car. So I apologize for any confusion. But anyway, I have lots of thoughts on cereal. And if somebody's looking too long, I love sharing my thoughts. I'm a big fan of Cinnamon Life. If I had to have only one more cereal the rest of my life, it might be Cinnamon Life. Fortunately, that's not something I have to do. I also enjoy Golden Grahams, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Frosted Mini Wheats. I like some Raisin Bran from time to time. I like all the junk cereals in moderation, but I tend to believe they do not fill you up at all. And after a half an hour of eating a bowl of Captain Crunch, you'll be hungry again, and that's not good. My other thought about eating some of those cereals is the dyes in the cereal can affect you in ways that you'll see about 12 hours later once your digestive system works through. And I don't want to give too much information, but I'll leave it at that, and you can read between the lines. Hello to Girl Mom. Have I tried Raisin Bran Crunch? Ironically, I have not. And it's only ironic because I work in the cereal aisle and I'm stocked some Raisin Bran Crunch a moment ago, and I've never actually tried it. I have never actually tried the Raisin Bran Crunch. I bet it's fairly tasty. A little better. Try it sometime. I might have to. Hey. But I'm having a ton of fun doing this. And I was talking it over with some people I respect, and I get a lot of advice. And a lot of people are saying, hey, you know, you should get off social media. It's bad for you. And I took all the advice and I put it in a bowl and I let it simmer overnight, and I thought about it, and I picked various chunks of advice from various people. And I said, what the heck? Let's follow my own path and my own thoughts and my own advice, because I like who I am. I'm smarter than the average bear. I feel great about my life, and I'm excited about the future. And I've realized I'm pretty darn good at talking to the phone, and that if I talk to the phone long enough, some good things come out, and it seems to motivate people and inspire them, and they connect with me, and they appreciate my story about a guy who used to have a ton of money, who's now currently working at a super target to pay child support. And a guy that gets knocked down more often not more often than I like to admit. I mean, I tell you, when I get knocked down, I get knocked down all the time, but I manage to pull myself back up. And I think that's a good basis for a story. And it's my story. And it's a story I'm proud of. And it's an imperfect story, and it's a story about a loving dad that misses his kids, has 4 beautiful children, aged 17 to 10 months, and who's doing his best and trying hard and loving on his kids and trying to love on those around him. And some days are harder than others, but I'm trying to make it through the day and make a positive impact every day. And I feel I do that in life and on social media. And I think that's why my platforms are growing, because I do have a positive vibe. I do have a positive energy. And not everybody wants that. Not everyone wants that. I got trolls that write hateful comments and say bad things about me on all my videos. Go look them up. It's funny. But they're just trolls. And they inspire me. Their hatred of me inspires me, because I know they're crazy and they're wrong. And if they're telling me that I suck, I got to be pretty cool. So I think I'm pretty cool. And I appreciate you guys for joining me today and sharing some of your Tuesday morning and following along a little bit in my story called life. And I have a ton of fun doing this, and I hope you follow me here on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Good morning, Cynthia, because this message is going to keep coming to you one way or the other, one platform or the other. I'm looking into various options, considering podcasts, because I like talking. But for the time being, thank you, Just Todd. I'm satisfied with this platform and growing out this platform and that on other social media pages, and I plan to keep doing that. But anyway, my coffee break is up, and so I'm going to leave you with one more sip of coffee, and I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful morning, and you're feeling good, and you're loving yourself, and you're forgiving yourself. Cheers to us. And as always, I hope to talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.